after the merger of levies into the police, what will be the impact on law and order situation in Balochistan province?
Once in a century decision, the government and the establishment, the security establishment, which thought that enough is enough, we need to go to a modern policing system, replacing, the levies and bringing in the state rate to 100% of Balochistan.
Have the tribal chief taken into confidence over this major shift as far as policing is concerned?
Pakistan has to evolve. We have to go by, the hard state policy. What that means is you cannot allow ungoverned spaces within Balochistan, which is a very critical part of Pakistan.
What about reforms process within the Balochistan in terms of governance, in terms of economy, so that there could be more opportunities and there could be better economy in the province?
Within few years, we will see Balochistan's governance very much improved. The basic facilities, i.e., health, education, pure water, drinking, and the checking of corruption. These are major milestones that we are about to see. That so I think the state authorities, the local establishment, the political establishment now understand that Balochistan has to develop through governance reforms.
How much Balochistan province will be getting out of this multi-billion-dollar gold project?
This project has strategic significance. It will alter the perception of Pakistan as an investment destination. The next big thing for the rare earth minerals, for investment in gold and other resources.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to Program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, there is an extraordinary development in Balochistan, and that is related to police and governance setup. And that development is that Balochistan's chief minister on 6th of January announced an extraordinary decision that abolishing all B areas and converting all B areas into A area. An area means that police will be having it across Balochistan and federal levies police will be abolished and will be merged into the police. So now, from 6th January, police across Balochistan province of Pakistan will be responsible for maintaining law and order. This system was centuries old. In today's conversation, we will try to analyze, examine that what will be the impact of this new decision as far as law and order situation is concerned, how much time it will take in transfer of funds, administrative setup, and all other structure back to the police. And we will also discuss whether police has that capacity to maintain law and order in a Pakistani province which is witnessing the trouble. Miscreants are creating disturbance. We are fortunate to have with us very senior analyst on Balochistan Affairs, former Minister of Balochistan, former parliamentarian, Mr. Jan Achakzai. Very warm welcome to Program Insight in V News English, Mr. Jan Achakzai.
Thank you for having me.
So it's a pleasure to have you in our program. So since there are viewers who wanted to know that what was this A area and B area and why it has been now abolished and police will be having it across the province under a new setup, and that setup was being considered for years and years, but finally it was executed on 6th of January. So first explain what was A area and what was B area, what was the purpose, and now after the merger of levies into the police, what will be the impact on law and order situation in Balochistan province?
When the British Raj was in subcontinent, including the regions that now called Pakistan, they introduced a policing system called levies. The levies was basically a tribal force answerable not to the administration but more to the tribal elite to police the far-flung areas of region like Balochistan. Balochistan, 90% was B area where the levies operated for keeping the law and order. However, the main problem with levies has been it had the training issue, it had a management issue,
Capacity
the
issue.
top the capacity issue. The
Mm.
top leadership was based in Quetta. And then for any crime that were committed, there was no follow-up, there was no court procedure, there was no FIR, and most importantly, their loyalty was not with the state, but with mostly with the tribal chief, because on whose recommendation they were appointed in the first place. So it was a political patronage, basically keeping as if they were the security guard of the concerned or respected elite in that region or district or division, if you like. This is why, for the first time, once in a century decision, the government and the establishment, the security establishment, which thought that enough is enough, we need to go to a modern policing system, replacing, the levies and bringing in the state writ to 100% of Balochistan. This is why it's a landmark decision, as you mentioned.
So, Achakzai, for the information of our viewers, would you like to name some of the divisions or the cities which were in the category of B and now has been converted to A area?
Balochistan has six divisions. So five were mostly operated under B area, with the exception of Quetta. So I think this is almost,
The entire
90%
province.
was
Hmm.
in the entire province was under the B area. There was one half, attempt was made under the Musharraf era 2 decades ago, but it was half-heartedly made, and it was not enforced because of the backlash. The political elite of the province did not want to have their perks influence under this regime, i.e., the levy system did not want to be replaced. This is why it was scrapped subsequently because of the political pressure. And here we are again defying that pressure, and that's why it's a very significant step in Balochistan's policing system.
So, on 6th of January, Chief Minister Mr. Sarfraz Bugti announced that the replacement of the system was under consideration since long, taking into account different administrative aspects and many other things. So, but as you said, that this levies force used to be under the tribal chief. Have the tribal chief taken into confidence over this major shift as far as policing is concerned?
Well, the political economy run by the tribal chief, they would never easily give up on their perks and their influences exercised through the muscle of levies. It's not easy to go about. But, Pakistan has to evolve. We have to go by, the hard state policy. What that means is you cannot allow ungoverned spaces within Balochistan, which is a very critical part of Pakistan. And levies was the Achilles heel at time when we want to see Balochistan develop its resources exploited for the benefit of the people of Balochistan. We could not have this system which had created gaps for penetration of the proxies by India and other countries like Afghanistan. This is why the state had to take this step so that Balochistan is at par with the rest of the Pakistan.
Mr. Achakzai, the other day, Chief Military Spokesman DG ISPR's Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry spoke about the security and law and order situation in both provinces, KP and Balochistan. So he also talked about, of course, the role of the police in combating this insurgency or terrorism. So after this merger from levies into the police, what do you think the police in Balochistan is now capable, is fully trained, has the capacity, along with other law enforcement agencies and the armed forces of Pakistan, as you mentioned just now, that there are Indian proxies active over there. So definitely within the districts and certain districts, there is a presence of the police. So police has the capacity to fight against these terrorists?
The decision to move out the police to the other part of the province does not mean automatic capacity of the police functioning from tomorrow. However, it's being implemented. Their training has just started. 1 month crash courses to the merged ex-levies, now police, jawans, men and officers. Secondly, they are, the resources are being rolled out, like the police stations, the equipments, their communication devices, their transport. So Balochistan is very vast. That takes a while to develop to the capacity where they are functional. But most importantly, their intel gathering capacity of the local authority, i.e., in this case, the police, will develop in a big way. So far, levies was compromised in terms of intelligence gathering. They were scared of the insurgents and the tribal chiefs. They could not report to the state and authority what was going on. So they could not effectively serve as eyes and ear of the state. This is why all the heavy lifting was to be done by the state authorities, i.e., the intelligence agencies and the kinetic force in this case, where they needed an operation or they needed to disrupt, the communication and the conspiracies of the foreign-sponsored proxies in Balochistan. This is why the police would have a dual capacity. Not only the first responder force, they will act. Second, the intelligence gathering will improve a lot. Then we don't need like 60,000 a year IBOs in Balochistan, which was the case last year. This is why I think this is a huge development. Over the next couple of years, we would see the benefit of this institutional change occurring in and also facilitating the hard work of the security forces in Balochistan.
So, Mr. John Achakzai, you have very in-depth and very close understanding of issues of Balochistan. So, over the last many, many years, these miscreants are determined to create disturbance. There have been suicide attacks. There have been so many things. And as you mentioned, citizens who are living in far-flung areas are quite scared. So, do you think now police will be able to restore the confidence of the citizens, will come up to their expectation, because primary responsibility of the civilian police is to protect lives and the property of citizens against criminals?
We have to categorize, the nature of the crimes. As far as the terrorism is concerned, it's specific in few districts, but mostly the general crimes from street to murder could not be handled by the levies force. Now, with the police coming in, they would have this system of the modern policing system, and also backed by the courts. So you would have, for example, any crime committed, you would have an FIR. So FIR has to be followed up. Has to, you have to have a intelligence officer who would report to the court and produce the evidence. So by this way, it will act as a deterrence for small crimes. And this is a very effective. Okay, we know that our judicial system is not ideal, it's slow in functioning, but this also serves as a purpose, because every criminal would know potentially that if I go through this process and FIR is registered, then I have to go to every hearing on a regular basis. This itself is a deterrence, because they cannot get away with the crime easily, and then if it's a serious crime, they will be put behind bar, and the whole, the bail and the rest of the things are not easy. So that procedural engagement by the force of the law enforcement, i.e., in this case the court, is itself a deterrent compared to the levies modus operandi. Levies were, just were called away from a chieftain. If there is any crime committed, the criminal will be just let go, or he would be given space or look the other way so that he can operate in normally. This is why Balochistan was a black hole in terms of general law and order of the general crimes. So I think with this sea change, we would see, law and order, particularly the general crimes rate, would go down, and we see people's the satisfaction level would also go up with this decision. Okay, our police system is not ideal. It has many issues, just like the rest of Pakistan, but it's far better than the archaic colonial legacy of the levies, which is symbolic to have to survive in 21st century.
So, Achakzai Sahib, as you said in the beginning of the program, that these levies force used to be answerable to the tribal chiefs or tribal leaders. And of course, most of this levies force used to be used for their protection. Now, since tribal chiefs of Balochistan, they must be facing certain security threats. So, if the levies force has been taken away, do you think now police will be also deployed for their security, because it's a major decision, centuries old powers being snatched from them and shifted to the police? So, police will be responsible for providing security, or now they will be having their own security, private guards?
Well, mostly tribal chieftains have their own private guards, so they never needed, per se, the levies protection. The levies was kind of first responders, not for the state, but for the tribal chiefs. If there was any crime committed, they could also do misuse their positions for the benefit of these tribals whenever they needed it. This is why the chieftains were not powerful because they had a private guard. They were powerful because they had a state arm serving them rather than the state, i.e., in this case, levies. This, facility has now been withdrawn. So this will serve, the people's interest, the state interest, more than the interest of the chieftain, which has a personal agenda, tribal agenda, influence agenda to control their people. This is why it will take away that tool that they have been using against the people. And this is a very dramatic, step. This is why I really admire the leadership of the state, whether it's the security establishment, whether it's the provincial government's decision, whether it's other stakeholders who made sure that despite all the opposition, it is executed, without any backlash or without any pressure. So I think this is a significant change in every sense of the word, and people like us who believe in a modern police system or a reformed police system, this serve the narrative that why we should have made this decision earlier, but it's better that we have taken even today. It's incremental, it's gradual, but it's going to affect the people's lives in a better way.
So, any no-go area in Balochistan after this major
Well, I,
decision?
well, Well, I think after this decision, there will be no go area. There are certain districts where we have a security issue in terms of terrorism, which is quite normal because our state
But
law
no more
enforcement
no-go
are
area. Hmm.
no more no-go area. Absolutely. The law enforcement, particularly against the terrorism, is very, the counterterrorism efforts are very robust. Recently, a very big effort by the terrorists have been neutralized through input of our intel operators. You have heard of a very potential explosion to be, targeted a certain financial hub in Karachi, but alhamdulillah, it has been averted. This shows that eyes and ear of the state are working, are functional, and the counterterrorism, not only in terms of preventing them, but also in terms of preventing potential bombing of our key target areas, have been averted or are being averted. So they are being hunted wherever they are. This is a big success by all margins.
So, at the federal level, economic reforms, administrative reforms, governance reforms are a continuous process. And Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has been holding meetings over last many, many months on particularly on governance, economic, and these reforms. So, tell us, since after 18th Amendment, provinces are now having more autonomy. Uh, and reforms are, of course, necessary for socio-economic development, better delivery, better governance. So please educate us. What about reforms process within the Balochistan in terms of governance, in terms of economy, so that there could be more opportunities and there could be better economy in the province?
Well, I'm glad you asked this critical question. Balochistan has a problem of narrative, and also it has a problem of governance. As I say, there is always information black hole about Balochistan, so we don't see the real picture. It's very important that we understand that governance has been a big problem, is a big challenge, but this new reform, for the first time, the districts have been focused. The PSTP model has been broken in part. Now the local administration with all the stakeholders, i.e. the local MPA, the people's recommendation, the bureaucracy, the military bureaucracy, all they would focus on the basics like education, health, water projects that will be recommended by our district committee at a grassroots level, and where we would have a direct input from the people. So that will be monitored at the local level, and that will be executed at the local level. At the moment, 1 billion per district have been allocated.
1
This
billion per
model,
district.
1 billion per district. So we have got almost 38 districts in Balochistan. So that means $38 billion will be spent in every district. So the accountability and transparency has been introduced to this amount of allocation, where we had a PSTP, which is a corrupt model, where MPs had, siphoned off this money under various schemes like water, road, and everything. And we have been waste of these resources for several decades. So that model has been not fully replaced, but, it has been chipped in to have an allocation at a district level. So that is the best model, I think. If we increase this allocation, 1 billion per district to more than 5, for example, billion to per district, within few years, we will see Balochistan's governance very much improved. The basic facilities, i.e. health, education, pure water, drinking, and the checking of corruption, these are, major milestones that we are about to see that. So I think, the state authorities, the local establishment, the political establishment now understand that Balochistan has to develop through governance reforms. This is why the A and B area, the policing system has been reformed, and now we see a reform, governance reform now in this alternative PSTP model, what we call it, joint development committees. So this is very, encouraging, I think, and it is a very creative model, which has the consensus backing of the bureaucracy by the politician in the government, and also, of course, the establishment in Balochistan, that enough is enough. We need to check the corruption or the corrupt PSTP model from now on.
Mr. Achakzai, Alhamdulillah, Balochistan is one of the biggest province in terms of territory of Pakistan. So this is a major administrative and police reform that there will be no more B area, and police scope and the writ of the police is being extended to the entire province. Now, question rises: induction of the young policemen and the young police officers. Of course, one are the PSP officers that come from Islamabad. The other one, inspectors, are those who are inducted at provincial level. So please share with us what is the criteria of now induction of the police. Is there is any political influence, any tribal influence, and now jobs are purely on merit? And if on the merit, then what are your hopes in future that if young and educated youth is inducted into the police, they will be able to create some difference?
Well, absolutely. Remember, we have another department called CTD. CTD has been very effective because they have a very competent police officers right from SSP to the top, because they have been deputed from all over Pakistan. They are CSP officers serving the far-flung areas of Balochistan where they don't have facilities, yet they serve, CTD. This is why the CTD is very successful in Balochistan. So that experience has been copycat in the police system, where we had in areas where also we had a very educated, competent CSP police officers from SSP level to the top. So this will be extended, to roll out to the whole now area, the whole Balochistan, replacing the archaic levy system. Yes, we would have a problem problem at the SHO level, where we need more, educated officers, so that it will take a while, because the chunk of the officers who have been inducted are posted, they were in the police, in the levies, so their education system, their grooming had some challenges, because it was very relaxed when they were appointed in the levy system. But it will take a while. However, the police training, their system, their hierarchy is very efficient, and I hope that it will be extended and roll out to the rest of Pakistan. And within a couple of years, we will see very much effective policing system in Balochistan.
So, the chief military spokesman, DGISPR, also spoke about, and that has also been talked by our chief of the defense forces many times, this terror crime nexus in Balochistan. How this terror crime nexus could be dismantled, could be broken. Do you think it will be done by the police? Because in the districts, it's all about, as you said, CTD and the police. So terror crime nexus, because combating crime is the job of the police, and intelligence provision is CTD and special branch and all other branches of the police.
Well, remember, the region that are next to porous borders like Afghanistan and Iran is a curse. However, the eyes and ear are important. The intelligence gathering is very important, and the
Mhm.
police with our SHO system will improve that intelligence gathering. At the moment, there is no intelligence gathering, in that sense that the levies was
Mhm.
ineffective. Now it cannot be done by the DC office, or the other state institutions have other big mandate, like CI, counterterrorism, and espionage, and other tasks. But the local information is being gathered by the SHO and the CID police system. This is why, with this level of capacity, which will be functioning within a couple of years, I think we would have a more robust system of checking the crimes and the smuggling and the other mafias that operate within this border region. But again, this is a work in progress. It has, we have just started off. Yes, we cannot be as revolutionary as one can think of, but changes occur incrementally. This is a slow journey. The trajectory is positive. The ground realities which hamper are being dealt with. So I'm hopeful that within decades we would see a developed Balochistan, not in terms of development, but also in terms of capacity issue of its institutions. The civil service is quite developed, but we need to develop the policing system. So this is the beginning of a big, goal that we have undertaken.
And since I spoke about terror crime nexus, do you have any figure currently? As you mentioned also, and in yesterday's briefing, the military also mentioned about the intelligence-based operation. What is the rough estimate of the presence of these terror organizations, number one, and how many terrorists, rough estimate, might be in different parts of the Balochistan on which the on daily basis intelligence-based operations are conducted, they are being utilized, killed, arrested. So what is the rough estimate of the presence of these terrorists who are part of the proxies, and the proxies are being funded by India?
Well, I weigh in terms of how the areas being cleared out and made peaceful as the main
Mhm.
criteria of the counterterrorism effort in Balochistan. Balochistan was, 90% no-go area once in terms of terrorism, and sponsored by the Indians handlers, a while ago. That means no one could go to far-flung areas. But Alhamdulillah, today, Balochistan, if we take the core, which was the focus area, like Dera Bukti, Sui, Kolu. Now it's very peaceful. The insurgency has been defeated in this region. Then going back to the area where we have this strategic gold mine project called Sendek and Reko Diq. This region is very peaceful. It was a Majid Brigade area in the past. We have seen a zero incident in this region. Again, a very success of the counterterrorism effort of the law enforcement agencies. Then again, Quetta and the North Balochistan is very peaceful. Moving to the small, region of Balochistan, i.e., mainly the Makran belt, where we've seen like Turbat, Avaran, and Gwadar. Here we have seen some incidents occurred over the last year, but here they have been confined now because of their across the border sanctuaries being demolished, and they have been a hot pursuit incident as well. So we have seen that area, the crime rate and the incidents of terrorism have gone down as well. And the areas where we call it, Mastoom, Khozdar, that area has been also been made substantially cleared of the big incidents and the terrorist stronghold. Now the new kid in town is the brother of Sardar Ataullah Mengal, Javed Mengal. He's trying to make some inroads. However, he is very limited. The kinetic space that he has, it is no more contestable. He cannot pitch in. So I see Balochistan very much, made peaceful in the next couple of days, in a year, sorry. And this is why the main test is the Reko Diq project, where it's financially closed and the production will start from 2028, 1 billion plus. So this is a success of counterterrorism of the state in Balochistan. So all the bad press, all the negative talking points, the trajectory is very positive with support by the underlying ground realities changing for the positive.
I was going to ask you the question regarding Reko Diq, and you have already given an answer, but one supplementary question. Of course, gold will be extracted. How much Balochistan province will be getting out of this multi-billion-dollar gold project?
The 50% stake Pakistan has it, 25% is allocated for Pakistan, Balochistan, and 25% for the federal government. 50% is for the investors in the company. So out of that 25%, Balochistan will get $1 billion plus, from 2028. And it's a huge amount for a province like Balochistan, which has been facing a resource crunch. This is just not one project. There are other projects coming in which are still in the pipeline. But this is a reality shaping the future of Balochistan in terms of employment, in terms of its PSTP and development needs. This is why this project has strategic significance. It will alter the perception of Pakistan as an investment destination, the next big thing for the rare earth minerals, for investment in gold and other resources. So we are going to be a positive hub for all these next big thing in terms of the geopolitical context that we see from Venezuela to Afghanistan.
Thank you so much, Mr. John Achakzai Saab, for your time and your participation in our program on this extraordinary decision that all B areas across Balochistan province of Pakistan have been abolished, and now there are no go areas in Balochistan. Dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.